It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
Welcome to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock. I almost got my voice back. Yeah, you can even almost semi-recognize me now. A lot of people, they couldn't even recognize me. And I don't have to wear glasses as much. My eyes are still kind of red. But, you know, hey, you suffered with me. I appreciate it. And it was me, even when you couldn't tell. Some housekeeping real quick. It was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. I was reading an article, and I'm always really diligent, you know, for our FCC licensed stations that and guest, they use naughty trash can words, I got to say, hey, it is my obligation to inform you that you're not allowed to cuss on the air. And it kind of hopefully insulates them a little bit. And I apologize. There was an article that really called BS on everything by using the BS word and a lot of BS. And as I was reading it, it was so poignant in using bovine excrement, and I just let it flow. I went ahead and read it, and it was repetitive, and it made a point out of all of this economic and their, the best way to put it is, I don't know what you call it when they look you in the face and just lie. It's such bull, man. And so I read it as it was written, and they might be able to get away with it, as editorial comment, or reading from printed material or something. But they get nervous because we have several affiliates that are FCC licensed, and Ernie, please, we're not going to be able to carry you if you do that. And I want them to, because they've been really nice and following me around various different places and pulling the show, and various parts of the country, Texas, Florida, and Tennessee, and Portland, St. Helens there by Portland. And, so I gotta give them deference. And it's not that I know the audience, you can handle it. It's not that big a deal. But, it's their private property. Their license, their station, their livelihood depends on the FCC granting them a license. So in addition to us having the archives and the podcasting and the delay and the LRN.FM, I'm sure they don't care, and I got to give deference to those that are using traditional Terran-based radio and do that. So I apologize. It doesn't mean I didn't mean it. It just, I don't want to get him in trouble. And I want to read another article that, it doesn't have any curse words in it, so we can get away with this. And it's a guest post, The Big Squeeze, predicting the effects of savings, extortion, and abuse of the middle class. Now, this is submitted by Tyler Durden over at zerohedge.com. Now, Jack Gregson, one of our economic columnists, he really gets a lot of, he reports a lot of good stuff from Zero Hedge and a lot of other sites. He really combs the internet for a lot of alternative views of what's happening. And I'll tell you, it's more than just alternative. It's way, way more accurate. In the morning, I wake up. I just got my cable turned on yesterday. Ooh, I got cable now and put the TVs up and everything. So I'm kind of semi-plugged in, and I'll get caught up on my email. If you've been sending me email and stuff for the last week, I'm just now getting all my electronics put together, or we've moved, and start accessing that. And what's happened is, as I turn on the television, I go to CNBC just to see what the BS is. Because, they're slinging it there by the shovelful. You know, they got big, giant, BS shovels, snow shovels full. And you can tell Jack always, when it was really a good one, the graphic that he uses on Freedom's Phoenix, some of you may not know what this refers to. You don't understand the reference. But a lot of us that grew up at this age watching Saturday Night Live with Will Ferrell over the past couple of decades, we understand this perfectly. There was a skit, a regular recurring skit that he would play. Our cheerleader had big Spartans on his, sweater, with one of the other actresses. They're out there doing we know what you need. You need the perfect cheer, and they go through their thing and they do kind of a fun cheer. But, that's what's going on over at CNBC. And Jim Rogers would go on and say, look, you guys are just cheerleaders, for the status quo here. You're just, drag it, just make them feel good about something for one more day, one more week, one more month, one more election cycle, one more something. You keep dragging this out, and the fundamentals are so obvious. And this morning, one of the main guys in the morning, what do they call it, street something, it doesn't matter, it's one of their cheerleading shows, and the older guy gets up and he goes, look, what are we looking at? Housing. Oh yeah, housing's starting to pick back up. Housing's good. Yeah, we got some good numbers. We got this. It's, sales going, interest rates are still low. We're on the way out. It's all good. Now he goes, well, full disclosure, he goes, I have a lot of real estate. I mean, I want it to go up. I mean, up would be good. But he goes, I'm kind of now, I'm getting to the point to where, doesn't jobs have to come with that a little bit for somebody to be able to buy it? And aren't they starting the requirements now? They're wanting 30% down, which isn't necessarily bad. We got Wells Fargo arguing, trying to set some kind of standards with Congress and Washington doing whatever. And they're going, they're talking about 30% down. Well, I don't know why you need a law for that. Let the banks deal with this kind of stuff. You get better terms. You're doing. Where's the free market in this? They always want it mandated by somebody. Everybody has to have 30% down. Nobody can have 20% down. Everybody's got everybody. It's this collectivized thinking. The free market is not allowed to, enter into this thing. I don't understand. Because it always eventually does. Sooner or later, it's going to come down to whatever. I was going to, I'll give you an example so you understand before, maybe in the next segment we'll read this article, or just a couple paragraphs that makes the point. I need a Starbucks. I got to get me some Starbucks. I'm feeling I'm still recovering. So I go, and I pull in the Starbucks, and I go, I don't have any cash on me. I don't have any, I cleaned out my car. I got, I'm going, okay. I gotta use my bank card, my little ATM card thing. So I pull it out, and I'm thinking, I'm going, that's what they want. They want to get you to a cashless society. But pretty much everything you can do cashless with whatever. And I'm thinking about our wallet voting thing and the silver and all this kind of stuff. And then it dawned on me, maybe they don't want to go to a cashless society. Because if they did, what would immediately happen? Immediately, I and a lot of other people I know, we would begin to do our trading for things that we want, different food or Craigslist stuff or just buying stuff from our friends that you can't just, you get a tax and event just by doing, you got to have a card swipe to be able to do classified section on whatever. It's going to go to some other kind of a bartering material other than cash. If they go to a cashless society, I guarantee you what happens. There will be something that will take its place, and most likely, silver. So I'm going, this junk silver thing, I'm feeling better and better about this. If they go to a cashless society, now it may be at a discount. There may be a premium for taking it. There may be, the free market will come up with something, but it needs to have all the qualities of real money. It needs to be fungible. It needs to be, able to be in small increments. You can half it, and you can double it, and you can carry it, and then have universal value and purity and the check and all that. I doubt they're going to go to a cashless society, because if they did, then it'd be real money cash. I'll read this article when we come back. Can you stay right there? It's interesting. uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.